This is a review for exam number 3. Alright, so let's get started on this question. So first we have 8x plus 9 equals 5x plus 6. So what are we going to do first? Of course, we want to combine the variables on one side and then numbers, the numerical values on the other side. So we have, when we subtract 5x from each side, then we'll be left with 3x plus 9, which is 6. Now here, as you subtract 9, because the operation is addition, we will end up having 3x is equal to negative 3. And how would you find out the value of x? Since the relationship here is once again multiplication, we'll divide by 3, where x becomes negative 1. That becomes our answer, choice number 1. Alright, let's move on to number 2. The sum of the numbers of the 4, you see sum means addition, and then of a number we can call it as x, and 4 is simply 4, is multiplied by 2. So this has been multiplied by 2 to the whole thing. So we have a number we don't know, so why don't we call it as x? And 4. The sum is multiplied by 2, and the result here is 28. Now, then what's going to be happening? Yes, you can distribute 2 on both sides. So we'll end up getting 2x plus 8 plus 3 equals to 28. Then as just like earlier, we can subtract 8. Then we have 2x is equal to 20. How are we going to get the value of x? When we divide by 2, you will realize that x must be equal to 10. Alright, choice number 4 becomes our answer. Let us move on, number 3. Now here, from original value, the fact that you came here, then if you have to move once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. 4 times to the left, and 4 times to the right. That simply means you need to subtract 4. And then if you have to put them into the calculator, either way, you will end up getting the same answer. Alright, let us move on to the next question. Now if I had to rewrite this one, I'll be getting 12x squared minus 3x all over 3x. Now, if we have to take the first term first, yes, this will look like 4x. Now, on the other hand, when you have 3x and 3x on the other side, we know that that will become 1. The connection between them was plus. So 4x plus 1 becomes our answer, choice number 2. Alright, let us move on. Number 5. This is also a problem solving, equation solving, where x can be distributed, 6 can be distributed first. So we have 6x minus 12 minus 4x equals to 16. Here, in order for us to get rid of negative 12, we can add 12 on each side. And 6x and minus 4x will combine together, which becomes 2x is equal to 28. Now, how do you find out the value of x? Divide by 2, where x is equal to 14. Choice 4. Next question. Now, this is very similar to the other scientific notation, but we have to go to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can say this must be 5.4 times 10 to the 7th power. That becomes our answer, so which is choice number 4. Alright, let's move on to number 7. Product here means to multiply. Now let's multiply them together. 3 times 2 becomes 6. I have x to the 4th power, but I don't have anything that means x to the 1st power is hidden. When you multiply by the same basis, what are you going to do? You're going to keep the base, so therefore we're going to have x and to the 5th power. How about y? Y also 2. Y squared and then y to the 3rd, when you combine them, becomes y to the 5th. So therefore our answer seems to be choice number 1. Alright, when you look into this question, we are once again turning 93 million into the scientific notation. Once again, we have to bring the decimal point ones, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times to the left. That means it will be positive 7. All right, let's move on to the next question here. All right, we have large and small submarine sandwiches. Roll for the sandwich ordered from a baker. All right, so we have large sandwich, rolls for the large sandwich would have been equal to 25 cents. Rolls for the small sandwich cost 15 cents. We have 2 kinds so far. And then he ordered 130 more. So let us try to make the chart here. Since we have 2, alright, so first one is the large roll, the other one is a small one. That's the category. How about number of each kind? So starting with the large roll for the small size. Now, ordered 130 more large rolls, then the keyword here becomes the then. Whatever comes after then, that becomes usually the x. So therefore small rolls are the x, then large rolls are 130 more than that, so basically x plus 130. Now, while a smaller one will cost 0.15 and a larger one will cost me 25 cents, as it is written here and also here. We have the value of each. And then this will be the total value. How can you get the total value? All you have to do is simply multiply. So 0.25 x plus 130 and 0.15 x. So once you calculate this one, you'll end up getting that the entire value has to be less than $63. So in fact, even though this one says less than $63, we're going to use the equation and then try to calculate it in that way. So here we have 0.25 x plus 130 plus 0.15 x equals $63. So how are we going to calculate this one? We will end up getting 0.25x plus 0.25 times 130. I believe it becomes 32.5 plus 0.15x equals 63. Now once you add them up together, we have 0.4x becomes 40.5. So how are we going to calculate? All we have to do is simply divide. So here we have 40.5 divided by 0.4. Let me try to clean this one up. 0.25 times it was, oops, my bad. It was the last one which we have to calculate. 40.5 divided by 0.4. So we got this one. Alright, so when you subtract 32.5 from each side, we will end up getting 30.5. Alright, Then if you have to continue further, 30.5 divided by 0.4. So here we have x equals 76.25. That means up to 76. If we could have small rows, now that means large becomes 76 plus 130. We change it in 206. Alright, let's move on to the next question. Here we have 4 has to be distributed. So 9x minus 4x. Negative, negative, notice, will be multiplying into positive 12. Equals to 73. Now, first, when you combine these two things together, you're going to have 5x and then plus 12 is equal to 72. Now, by subtracting 12 from each side, we have 5x is equal to 60, where when you divide by 5 on each side, x becomes 12. So here we have x equals 12. Alright, number 11, sum of two numbers is 240. Now, larger number is, so we have that L with the large number is 6 less than twice the smaller, so 2x, if small one is also equal to x. Find the numbers, so we just have to combine together and have to set it equal to 240. Now, when you add 6 on each side, you end up getting 2x plus x is equal to 246. Now, when you combine them 2x and x, we end up getting 3x is equal to 246. And then when you divide by 3, x becomes 82. So here we have smaller number becomes 82, and bigger number becomes 2 times 82 minus 6. Here 2 times 82 becomes 164, so therefore we have 158 becomes our final answer. Alright, number 12. Here we have movie theater question. So just like before, first one will be category, and then number of each, and then value of each, and total. Now we have adult tickets, and then also child ticket. And $7 for the adult ticket, and $4 for the child ticket, that's given. And it says child ticket was 3 times the sales of the adult ticket. So child ticket would have been 3x, where adult ticket would be x. Then how are we going to get the total? We just have to multiply them. Here we have 7 times x becomes 7x, and 3x times 4 becomes 12. X, when you combine them together, it has to be not more than 2,000. So that means 7x plus 12x is equal to 2,000, or less than that, right? We end up getting 19x, which is equal to 2,000. And when you divide by 19, let's look at it. So here we have 2,000 divided by 19. Okay, there it goes, 105. 0.3-ish. That means 105 will be the highest number which we can have. And then what is the greatest number of double tickets? I guess since it was equal to x, it will be equal to 105 itself. Next question. Here we have ties that goes $7.50 and some shirts for $18.50. So here we gotta have similar questions as before. The category here, ties, and then shirts. Numbers, the value of each kind, and then total. Our value for each kind here was the tie was $7.50, and shirt was $18.50. Twice as many ties as shirt. So that means shirt will be x, this will be 2x. Therefore, when you combine 2x times 750, becomes total 15x. Here we get 18.5x. So no more than $205. That means all we have to do is 15x plus 18.5 times 205. Now, when you combine them together, we'll be looking at 33.5x as the 205. And when we divide by 33.5, and let's look at it, x has to be x goes as high as, so 6. That means shirt will be 6, tie will be 12. Now the question is, what is the greatest number of shirts? So shirt will be 6x. So therefore our answer will be total 6. Alright, let us move on. Two numbers are in the ratio of 5 and 6. That means we are looking at 5x and 6x. So this becomes larger number, smaller number. The sum of the numbers is 66. That means we're going to add them up. Find the value of larger number. Here we have 11x is equal to 66, where then x, when you divide by 11, x has to be equal to 6. Now, then here we have 5 times 6 becomes 30. 6 times 6 becomes 36. Therefore, our answer becomes 36, right over here. Alright, number 15. So profit has been shared by 3 to 2 to 5. So immediately we are looking at 3x, 2x, and 5x. Now, total was this much. Then what we have to do is when you combine them together, we have 176,500. That means when you combine them together, we will have 10x, which will be equal to 176,500. Then x must be equal to 17650. We have one less 0 when you divide by 10. Then the first person, 3x, becomes 3 times of that. Times 3. And the next one was 17650 times 2. 117,650 times 5. So those are the answers at which we gotta have. Alright, let us move on to number 16. Two numbers are in the ratio of 2 to 5, and 6 has been subtracted from their sum. That means we are looking at 2x plus 5x, which is the sum, but 6 has been subtracted. The result was 50. Then what are we going to do? When we combine them together, we get 7x minus 6, which has to be equal to 50. Now, when we add 6 on each side, we'll end up getting 7x, which is equal to 56. Now, divide by 7, then x must be equal to 8. Now, here then 2x becomes 2 times 8, which is 16. 5x becomes 5 times 8, becomes 40. Therefore, our larger number is 4. Right, let's move on to the next question. As you can see, when you have negative exponent, it simply means you have to switch up the places. So 3 to negative 2 power. I can consider that to be over 1, then this has to equal to the denominator. And that's equal to 1 over 3 squared. Now 3 squared is equal to 9, so we end up getting 1 over 9, which is first choice. So Jamie is 5 years older than her sister. Now, in this case, J, 5 years older than, we can call it x plus 5. And Amy becomes x. Now, sum of their age is equal to 19. That means simply x plus 5, adding x, must be equal to 19. Alright, then here we have 2x plus 5 equals 19, because we have x here and here. When you subtract 5, we end up getting 2x is equal to 14, where x, when we divide by 2, must be equal to 7. Now, then here, we get 7, and 7 plus 5 becomes 12. So our final answer becomes 12 right over here. Alright, here we have another ticket question. So we're going to set up the category, adult and children, and value. This is total. This is number. Now 5 for the adult ticket and 2 for the child ticket. Total number here, keyword is total number. So if adult ticket was, for example, x, then child's ticket would be 295 minus x. That's how we can calculate the total one. Now, total value collected was 1220, which we would have calculated by x times 5, which becomes 5x. 2 has to be multiplied to both of them, so 2 times 295 minus x. Let's set up the equation. We have 5x plus 2 times 295 minus x is equal to 1220. Here we have 5x plus 590 minus 2x is equal to 1220. When you combine them, 5x and 2x, we end up getting 3x plus 590, which is equal to 1220. So as we subtract 590, we have 3x must be equal to 630. Then of course we have to divide by 3. So we have the x by itself. Then we end up getting 210. X seems to be 210. And that is our question. All those tickets. Alright, here we have the last question. Sum of the Scotch age and Greg's age is equal to 33. Now, so we just have to add them up. But Greg's age is represented by G. And what are we going to do? Scotch will be, let's call that as S. And then Greg's age, which maybe we can call it as G, is equal to 33. Then how can we solve for S by itself? We have to simply subtract G. And S must be equal to 33 minus G, which will be choice number 1. Alright, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you guys later. Bye-bye.